good because I could talk sports all day long. And I think any sports fans that you can actually get to that actually have sports as an entity, on the whole, where you're not
Right.
just talking football, you're not just talking basketball, you're not just, you're covering the whole range of it. There's very few people that can, and, I think I'm one of them anyway.
Well, Dave, like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad that the guy at NFL Domination, I think that's the group that we're both members of, got you guys to come on here because he talked to me the other day. He's like, we see that you do a podcast. Some of the guys in the group would love to get on. He mentioned you as one of them, and I'm like, well, you know what? Let's take a shot. And I mean, I do appreciate you coming on. You're more than welcome to call at any time. You can call me next week. I'm going to have a show where it's going to be just about, sports themes and stuff like that, where I'm going to be explaining things. So if you want to come on and you know something that I don't know, you're more than welcome to pop on. It'll be my normal time at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. You're more than welcome to come on and, school me. Maybe I forgot something. You're more than welcome to do that. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I can unmute, I can mute you and you can keep listening if you want to do that. That's up to you. That's your call.
Oh no, I have things that I have to do. It was truly enjoyable being on with you though, man. I'm thankful that you gave me, thankful that you gave me this time. I'd love to have pointers on how to actually do this on my own because I would love to do a podcast.
Well,
but that's a topic for that's a topic for a time where we're just one-on-one chatting, dude.
Sounds good. Like I said, man, hit me up on Facebook and I'll run you through to how I'm doing it. I'll be more than happy to help you get off get that off the ground. Be no problem.
All right, man. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Have a good day.
Thanks for the time, man. I enjoyed it.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Dave, for joining me.
All righty.
All right, guys, that was Dave. He was from one of my Facebook groups. And let me bring on my boy Adam. I know you've been hanging on, buddy. What's going on?
Not too much. A little under the weather this morning. Called out of work. Forgot to call in and bug you.
I feel bad for you, but I was under the weather last week, so I know how you feel, man. What's up?
Right. Well, lots happened since the last time we had a chance to talk, hasn't it?
Well, our Patriots lost, so we can go about that if we want to talk about that.
we can hit that.
Patriots lost.
I was talking about in Von Allen's group, and I was like, how about that may have been the worst thing to have happened this year for the NFL. Was the Patriots losing? Right. Now they know what they got to do,
Well, I think, but sometimes when you go through a season, and, I personally did not want to see them go undefeated, obviously, because we lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl, a few years back. But
sure.
I think when you lose, I think you learn something. I think you learn what mistakes or what little things can be adjusted. Am I worried about the game coming up this week? Not really, because I think I have a funny feeling that they'll come back after the bye week, and Belichick will be pissed, as we all know. Brady will be pissed, as we all know, and it'll be, it'll be the game that we all know that they can win. In my opinion.
Back to business as usual, as it were.
Correct. Very correct.
That's what I was saying is I think this may have been the worst thing to have happened for the NFL is the Patriots to lose the game because it'll just refocus everybody.
Well, and maybe the funny thing about that too is we get called America's nightmare. You don't want to piss them off because we've seen what happens when you piss them off. You win 8 games in a row.
Right.
You don't want to piss the team off. Right. The NFL needs to be worried.
Start talking junk.
Right. Correct.
And what happens when you talk junk? You get your ass beat.
if you don't back it up, correctamundo, you do get your ass beat. And again, this is going to be the toughest stretch for the Patriots down the stretch because, again, we got to play. I think we have the Eagles this week. We got the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Texans.
Yep.
Those games are not going to be easy for us to win, but they are winnable games if we play.
Oh yeah, also
adjustments that we know Belichick will make. So I don't think
absolutely.
Well, I don't think we'd be worried about.
The only thing is that the only team out of that stretch that I'm kind of worried about is the Texans. But I don't know if Watson is as mobile as Jackson. I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if they have the offensive talent to run that triple option as well as Baltimore was doing, and be able to exploit mismatches. Plus, now New England's already seen that, so if you try to go to that again, they'll have the opportunity to make adjustments.
Right. Correct. That is correct. Yeah. So not to.
And then,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that Mahomes needs a lot of work.
Well, not so much, and as I was talking, you were listening to my previous caller. They don't have a defense in Kansas City. And we saw that last year in the AFC Championship game. I mean, to me, we saw that last year. They got tired at the end of the game, and again, if they don't get a defense, you're going to waste away a potential great quarterback in Mahomes. In my opinion, that's just how I look at it.
I had the privilege of watching that game yesterday. That was a hell of a ball game. It was a hell of a ball game. Back and forth all day, both teams up and down the field. But what I saw was just one play that stuck out in my mind. Mahomes takes the snap, drops back to throw, and he's backpedaling. He's on his back foot the whole way when he throws. And this wasn't like it was one of those plays in the game that nobody's going to remember, but has a huge impact. I believe it was 2nd down and 10, I think it was, and he throws the ball. He throws off his back foot and does this jump pass thing from his back foot, and he throws it about 3 foot over his receiver's head, and he can't catch it. And it's like, it's great to make the highlight reel plays, but, if he just steps up in the pocket and takes one step forward, sets his feet and plants his feet and throws it on target, it makes all the difference in the rest of the game because now you extend that drive, which means it's one less drive that, it's one less play that Tennessee gets to make. It's one more play that your offense gets to make, and those are the little things that I think that plague some of these young quarterbacks where, like, Tom Brady doesn't make that mistake. Tom Brady sets his feet, throws the ball. Aaron Rodgers sets his feet, throws the ball. Breeze sets his feet, throws the ball. Now, not, most of the time. It's those mistakes that they don't make that some of these young guys, like, and some of the guys that are like, oh, if they were just a little bit better, like Matthew Stafford or Joe Flacco or, those other guys, like, and like, can you take that next step? Those guys like, and we'll see with the Garoppolo and Brissett and Jackson, we'll see can they make that read? Can they make that throw?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about Jimmy G, we'll see that tonight because I know the Seahawks don't have too much of a defense, but they have Russell Wilson. So the Niners defense will be tested tonight. So we'll see how, the only undefeated team left in the NFL right now plays tonight. We're going to see that. We'll have to wait and see, how that all plays out because, again, if Seattle comes out and, they can't stop Russell Wilson and they can't score points, or like you just mentioned, let's say Jimmy G did the same thing that Mahomes did yesterday, and that was a 3rd down play, and now you gave the drive away, you gave the ball away, Seattle scores a touchdown. Well, that's a game-changing thing, and it could mean, you win or losing that game. That's just the weird part about it is people don't think about that.
And you don't even have to. You don't, in the Tennessee and Kansas City, Tennessee doesn't necessarily have to go and score a touchdown on that drive. If they just go and they get 3 extra plays. That's 3 more plays that Kansas City's defense is on the field. That's another series of the Kansas City defense is out there getting tired, getting worn down, can have an injury.
I agree with you.
You don't have to score on every drive, but an 8-play drive that gets a field goal is gonna have a lot more impact than an 8-play drive that gets no points. But a 10-play drive that gets no points could have a bigger impact than a 6-play drive that only gets 3 points. It's so those little things in time management and timeout. Oh, I don't understand timeout management.
Well, I mean, I can go into timeout management about the USF Bulls if you want to talk college football, because I can go into that.
I'm always down to talk. I ended up falling asleep watching that game. I saw that they ended up losing to Temple. That was a winnable game.
Well, I know. I totally agree with you. That game, if you watched it, part of it, so you know what I'm referring to. The game was very slow. Very slow in the beginning. I will say this before I get into this. It was very cool to see Pat McAfee and Hasselbeck. I just want to play that out. I got to see both of those guys coming in.
Did you get to see them? Did you actually get to shake their hands, or did you just see them?
No, I just saw them. I wish I got a chance to shake their hand and take a picture. I should have walked over there and took a picture with both of them. But the game was very
I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan. He's hilarious.
I watch his podcasts on YouTube all the time, and I watch his stand up and stuff like that. He's great. But the thing I saw in the USF game was it started off slow. There were no points scored in the first quarter. Temple came out and they just did the right things when they needed to do the right things. Plain and simple, they did.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 53-yard run for a touchdown, which if you watch that drive, there had to be 5 missed tackles that USF should have made but didn't, and that cost them a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The next play you could point out was the Terrence Horn fumble. They're down near the goal line. He fumbles the ball, 35-yard touchdown the other direction. You take both of those touchdowns away, well, we have a 7-3 win. I mean, that's just how the difference between what 2 plays can make.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are in the fourth quarter. We have the ball deep in our territory, deep, on our end of the field. We have 2 timeouts. We're down by 10. Okay, no big deal. We're not going to win the football game. But guess what? You drive down and score a touchdown, and we lose by 3.
Right.
It might just be a little bit less of a sting loss compared to losing by 10 when you have 2 timeouts left and you don't one of them. Charlie Strong doesn't call a timeout, and I'll talk about this more on my show tonight, but does not call a timeout. And we turn the ball over on downs. And what do? They take 2 victory formation kneel downs and walk out of Raymond James Stadium bowl eligible because Temple only had 5 wins coming into that game. Now they have 6. Now they're a bowl eligible team. And now USF falls to 4-5. And now the remaining 3 games left, I think outside of this upcoming Saturday against Cincinnati, is winnable. They're not going to beat Memphis, and they're not going to beat UCF, even though I know the Knights lost to Tulsa. Doesn't matter. Oh, that game actually might be better than I think a lot of us hope to be. I mean, I'm going to try to get out of work early. That's Black Friday. Hopefully I can get out of work early and go to a bar and watch that game in person. But anyway, to make a long story short, it baffles me when you said timeout usage. You have timeouts, and Bruce Arians, and I'll go into that later tonight too, about him and his bonehead mistake yesterday, since the Bucs won. But his bonehead mistake yesterday too.
Right, he got away with one.
But to me, buddy, if you have the timeouts, you're not going to start the next game with 5. Okay, you're not going to start the second with 6 because you didn't take your 3 during the first half. I think time management and timeouts can be. You only have 3 of them. So it's got to be vital. You have to use them wisely, and if you don't use them, then I don't know why you don't. So that was my point on the USA.
What I can't stand is when a team takes a timeout on 1st and 10 with the play clock winding down, coming out of a break.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying. Yes,
I agree. It's just an absolute drive killer. Absolute drive killer.
Yep.
and it sets the tone for the whole game. Now you're behind.